Hey guys, and welcome to your February 2020 Tarot Creativity Forecasts. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, creatives, entrepreneurs, and anybody who is working on their personal growth or their spirituality and self-expression in any way. So if those areas of life are intriguing to you right now, go ahead and keep watching. I also want to give a really quick announcement about the Tarot Self-Therapy group course that we have coming up. I will put all of the information below. This is a course that starts actually this month in February, and all of the information again will be in the link below this video. It's essentially a course that takes you through really forming a deeper personal relationship with your deck from specifically a self-therapeutic perspective. So we're going to be working with the cards in a very gentle way, getting to know the archetypes and exploring the archetypes and their ins and outs very in depth, and also working with self-healing spread work and how you can really use tarot as a self-healing tool. So if you're looking for something to indulge your curiosity in, especially when it comes to tarot and divination or even healing work in general, this course could have a lot for you. And we also do have a group where you can chat with other participants as well. Alright, so that information is below the video. Let's get right into your reading. Okay, Cancer, as I was tuning in for you for the month of February, I was being given some spirit-guided messages, and they kind of came through in an interesting way. So for me, it really felt like an emotional state kind of came over me that I didn't have before. And the emotional state felt very anticipatory. So I don't know if there's something that you're kind of waiting on right now, Cancer, or if there's something that you feel really charged up about and you're like, oh, I really want this to happen. Like, when is this going to happen? Or it could also be that you feel really inspired and you're kind of really feeling this inspiration wanting to kind of come through you, but maybe there's some kind of frustration around that because you may have limited time, or you may have limited skill in a certain way. Like maybe you feel all of a sudden like you have to write, a book or a blog, but maybe in the process of kind of going through that, it's almost like you're realizing that you aren't able to kind of get it out as quickly as you would like. That's really the core of the feeling that I'm getting, is that there's something that you really want or that you're excited about, but it's kind of, there's some kind of irritating or annoying thing in the process of getting it out, or in the process, like in your life, there's something that you know is coming, but at the same time you're having to kind of deal with the practical container that it comes in, which might mean that it sort of slows it down, or that there's details that keep getting, changed at the last minute. I don't feel this as being an incredibly significant obstacle or anything, Cancer. I feel like what you want is coming to you. I just think that you have to kind of contend with situational aspects that you don't have necessarily complete control over. But the good news is that whatever this is really exciting, and that you do actually have that clarity of what you really want. And that in itself is exciting. So let's go ahead and take a look at your cards, and we'll get some more information on this and kind of how you can make the most of the energies of this month. Cancer. All right. Wow, so we've got the Lion as your path and the Fire Ant as the influence. So Wow, that is really funny because I really do. It amazes me how every single month these cards speak so much to what came through during the meditation. It really is spooky. The fire ant influencing you definitely is, I feel, speaking to what came through in the meditation about that sense of having to contend with situational and circumstantial energies that are not under your control, and that's fine. But there's a sense of really like having to maybe collaborate or corroborate, like if you're filling out a form, let's say, and the person or the institution that you're turning it into has another set of forms that was given to them by someone else that has some of your information on it. It might be the type of thing where they're like, oh, this letter is off, or this little date seems wrong, or there's like this kind of thing with the fire ant card where you get this sort of energy of like a little bit of frustration with things being lost in translation, or with little details that kind of nag at you, and then you have to go back and it's like you're already kind of busy and you're trying to get things done. So it's definitely that kind of energy that I see you contending with. It's not, again, anything that doesn't feel to me like part of normal everyday life. Like we all go through time periods like this where we might just be a little more busy, and so little inconveniences can tend to be a tiny bit more annoying than usual. But I see your path card as really representing kind of the key to this and really the medicine in it with the lion. So the lion is a very noble creature. From a symbolic perspective, it represents nobility and honesty, integrity, feeling rooted and strong within yourself, having that clear sense of who you are, and exalting yourself. Like the lion doesn't apologize for being hungry or for, hunting or for existing. Like the lion energy is a very unapologetically authentic vibe. And so I love how this lion in particular that Kim Krans illustrated is just so regal in its demeanor and so kind of serious but like calm within itself. So I feel like there is definitely this impression that I get from you, Cancer, that you have become self-actualized in some kind of significant way, that maybe people around you notice it and are like, wow, Cancer, what's going on with you? You just have this kind of glow, or you have this strength about you, or you really handled that well, or, whatever. But I feel like this is more about self-actualization and self-knowledge and self-awareness. And that's really where like the joy of this is for you. So I do feel that you're evolving in some way and that you have a clear idea of like what that means to you. But with the fire ant crossing you, I think it's also helpful, or it will be helpful in February, to think about the situations that you encounter and the frustrations, maybe, or the challenges that you deal with people. Like if you have to deal with challenging people, for example, or unhelpful people at all this month, I want you to kind of come back to these cards, right? With the lion and the ant. It's like you're the lion, the situation is the ants, right? Like small little ants. Yeah, they're fire ants, so they can really pack a punch if they bite. But ultimately, you're the leader here. You are in your own domain. You have more kind of, I guess I want to say, intrinsic wholeness and intrinsic integrity that's coming through like internally for you. And when you are feeling closer to yourself and more kind of rooted in presence, these little things, they're just little, they're just little things. And I think it kind of reminds me of, what animals like real, I mean, we're looking at the wisdom of animals to get these messages. And, deer, for example, will have ticks, or they'll get bit by mosquitoes. And I'm sure lions have their own, little insect problems that they deal with. And it's just a part of life. But it doesn't, I guess I want to say, like, whatever challenges you're going through this month, don't let them take away your prowess. Don't let them knock you so far off kilter that you forget who you really are. Because if you do that, it's so unnecessary. Like it is totally possible for you to rise above these situations by not really reacting to them, and even internally not reacting as much to stimuli that would have kind of caused you to maybe go into, like, it would have pulled you out of your presence, right? It would have pulled you into a state of reactivity and a state of defensiveness. And, maybe that'll happen. And if it does, just take a breath and forgive yourself and move on, because this is what really matters. Like, this vision that you have for yourself is what matters. The little tiny bullshit things that, uncooperative people put in front of you is not really what matters. Okay? So focus on your vision, focus on your light, and be the leader, unto yourself in that way. And I think that you will find that these situations are able to flow and you're able to kind of move around them a lot quicker. So let's take a look at your cards. Oh, turned over a couple other cards. Okay, so we've got the Magician. Wow. Queen of Pentacles, Eight of Swords, Six of Cups, Queen of Cups, Hermit, Knight of Cups, and Four of Wands. So this is actually a really, really beautiful reading. What I want to say too for you, Cancer, is actually that you have this full moon, this gorgeous full moon in Leo on February 9th, and that is actually going to be in your second house of finances. So when you have a full moon in your second house, sometimes it can relate to things that have to do with finances in particular, kind of coming to a close. So if you've been waiting on maybe like signing a big contract with a potential client, there could be important information coming to you around this February 9th full moon in Leo. It could also be that like some kind of long-awaited court proceeding or settlement, or maybe something that you've been waiting for, like a check, can come through. It could also be the end of a process of waiting or fighting for some kind of financial reimbursement in some way. And if none of that resonates, it could simply be that there is like a leg of your financial journey in life that is coming to a close, and you can now start to see new opportunities for bringing in income and resources that maybe you didn't see before. The second house is money, but it's also movable wealth, so possessions. You might feel, for example, like you need to get rid of some stuff around this full moon in Leo, and you could find that within a couple weeks of clearing out your closet and significantly reducing the amount of possessions and belongings that you have, you might find that a couple weeks after you do that, you come into something really beautiful, like a gorgeous piece of furniture, or something that like kind of replaces the stuff that you just gave away, or that you released. And now you're kind of seeing some real evolution when it comes to the way that your possessions and your immediate surroundings at home reflect where you're at this time in your life, Cancer. So I'm kind of seeing that with these cards in the beginning of the month, although these could be themes throughout the month. With the Magician and the Queen of Pentacles, I do see you kind of being a bit of a financial wizard this month. So if you're a Cancer who is starting a business, I think this is a really, really great time for financial planning. I think that you could discover some really crafty ways of improving your finances. Like maybe there's some grants that you haven't taken advantage of, but that your business qualifies for. Or perhaps even on a personal level, maybe there's some, for example, tax exemptions that you didn't know that you were, part of the sector of the population that would be able to receive those. So, it is the beginning of the year, people are doing their taxes. that could definitely be part of it. The Queen of Pentacles or the Magician both could represent a financial advisor for you, or it could represent you engaging with your financial life in a more creative way. The Magician brings that sense of innovation and creativity and doing things differently, and the Queen of Pentacles brings in results, right? And that sense of like, wow, this is actually creating traction for me. This is bringing something of value to me. So I really love to see that. I think that this is a very great financial month, or at least it can be, Cancer, especially if you are setting that intention and that's something that you're definitely working on. By the second week of February, we have the Eight of Swords and the Six of Cups. So when these two cards come up together, I want to say that there's like a really sweet energy to this. It could be that something that you haven't been seeing about your life or your upbringing is sort of gently made clear to you, and this could be through a relationship with like a therapist or a life coach or mentor, or someone like that might be picking up on something. The Six of Cups relates to childhood, so it could be relating to your childhood, or it could be relating to like children in your present day life, like if you're a parent or if you're a teacher or if you create content for kids, like books and education materials and stuff like that. There's a sense of like something being revealed to you about that world, right? And so this could be something that really brings in the opportunity for more creativity for you. In some ways, I could see these cards representing you healing your inner child as well. So if you are doing self-healing work, or if you are engaging with yourself on that level, that could definitely be something that brings in some joy for you around the middle of February. And then I also see, you know, the potential in a very mundane sense with this card, this person's freeing that person. And then the Six of Cups can represent like people who are familiar to us. So this could be a situation where somebody that you're really familiar with, somebody who's known you for a long time, gives you some words of encouragement or says, you know, Cancer, like you've always been really good at this, or that. Why don't you just try that? Or, you know, maybe they're just kind of giving you an alternative perspective that's coming from a really loving place. So that could also be going on as well, especially if that's like something that you're into receiving. We're not always looking for that kind of advice from friends and family, right? But I feel like this is something that feels nourishing, you know, when I look at it. So whether it's, you know, enhancing your creativity in some way around, you know, content that you create for kids, or engaging with kids in your life currently, or it's like something more internal, like self-healing work with the inner child, I do see that second week of February looking like tentatively pretty nurturing for you. So that's beautiful. The third week, we have the Queen of Cups and the Hermit. So what I get is that you're going to, and I feel this Queen of Cups is representing your energy here, Cancer, because she's a water queen. So whether you're male or female, Cancer, I feel like this is like representing your inner life this month. And I feel like there's a sense of really wanting to keep something to yourself in the third week of February. I'm not sure if you are having some kind of maybe like a powerful dream that month. I'm looking at this black dog and the snake that the Hermit is holding, and I just feel like there's something almost kind of psychic here. I feel like there's something mysterious in these cards. I don't know that this is an energy that you're going to immediately be translating into like something that you would share with others. I feel like this is a very private experience in the third week of February that you're having. So you might be doing some really powerful dream work with yourself, or, you know, interpreting your dreams, or even working with mysticism in some way, like reading a book about ancient like mysticism from some corner of the world and feeling something kind of coming alive in you, and something kind of being stirred, I guess, is the energy here. But it's like steep, like this energy is about steeping and sitting with it and tasting it and really engaging yourself with whatever this is, whether it's a new spiritual belief or some kind of concept about reality, like about the nature of reality or the nature of yourself and your psyche. So this actually looks pretty delicious, I'm not gonna lie. I think that spending some time with you in that third week is going to be really helpful for you to kind of get your mind around this, and who knows where this is going to lead you, but I think it's important right now to just engage yourself in this curiosity. So the third week would be a great time for some kind of metaphysical study, I want to say. The end of the month, we've got Knight of Cups and Four of Wands. So some of you, it looks like, could be traveling or moving at the end of the month, tentatively, especially if this is like a passion move or like a trip that's for, some kind of emotional purpose, because we have the Knight of Cups here. He's very much like a knight that is motivated by his emotional landscape, and he's going to kind of go with the flow of that. So wherever he's feeling the most like heart opening happening is where the Knight of Cups is going to go. And with the Four of Wands here, like we see this kind of celebration and this sense of like coming home. So some of you could be literally visiting your hometown almost. You could be like, I really just need to go back to the place where I grew up and like see those buildings and like listen to those people talk. Or if you're a Cancer who lives really far from the country where you grew up, like if you're living internationally, there could be this desire coming up at the end of the month where you're like, gosh, I actually really miss home right now. That could also be part of it. So this is going to be interesting. Some of you will actually be doing the traveling at the end of the month, and others of you, I feel, are going to just get the thirst for it. You're going to start to feel like this is actually something that I want, right? So that is like something that I see. I also could see this as kind of just continuing a process of really coming home to yourself, because this is just such a beautiful image of like the knight kind of walking into the Four of Wands, like just entering into this stability that feels joyful, and like entering into maybe a routine almost of life that feels like it's uplifting and feels like it's aligned with your emotional set point of like what you want to feel, how you want to feel on a day-to-day basis. Whatever you're walking into at the end of the month is really kind of facilitating that. And it makes sense because we do have the Pisces new moon on February 23rd, which is the very beginning of the last week of February. So you could definitely be feeling around the last week, you could be feeling that new moon in Pisces, it's going to be trining anything, your energies that you have in Cancer. And so it's something where you feel a harmonious energy with it. You're going to feel in alignment with that new moon in Pisces, okay? So enjoy that. Maybe restructure some things at home, I feel, since that theme came up a couple times in this spread, and just be ready to move and continue moving in the direction of creating emotionally satisfying structures in your life. So that's what I'm getting for you, Cancer. I hope this reading is helpful to you, and please let me know in the comments if you're still with me. I absolutely love to hear from you guys when you have listened all the way to the end. I know my readings are very wordy, but I always have fun doing them. So if you're still with me, you can leave me a little heart below and let me know. And you can also like this video, share it with a Cancer who you feel may benefit from the messages. And if you'd like to take the Tarot Self-Therapy course, I will put all the information below on that. You can also choose to donate to support this channel. Any amount is so freaking helpful and really supports all of the time and energy that I put into these readings. Thank you so much for being here, Cancer. Sending you tons of love, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.